Hello! Today we are going to learn about why empires fall and how the Roman Empire declined and fell in particular. A central reason why empires fall in general is that the peripheries get stronger and the central power gets weaker. For example, in the Persian Empire, the satraps, a provincial governor in Persia, got stronger as the central power, like the emperor, got weaker, leading to rebellion. Within this all-encompassing reason lie many other smaller reasons that lead to the eventual decline and fall of empires. This video will split them up into two categories: internal and external. Starting off in the internal categories, one big reason why empires decline and fall is called fragmentation. Fragmentation is when subjects of the empire essentially break away from it and carve out their own piece of the empire, doing whatever they want. This can happen for religious reasons, as we see in the millenarian movements in Han China, political reasons, like when the barbarian kingdoms emerged from what used to be the Western Roman Empire. This fragmentation leads to a weakened central government and an even worse economy. Fragmentation also leads to internal revolts. Internal revolts then lead to a poorer empire because money needs to be spent putting down the rebellion. The poorer the empire gets, the more revolts that occur as a result of workers of the empire not being paid enough, and the vicious cycle continues. Most of the military revolts that occur are led by powerful generals with lots of strong soldiers supporting them. These generals seek to be the emperor themselves, and they all start fighting each other. This happens in China, but mainly Rome. Other internal reasons as to why empires decline and fall include disease killing off the population and the rise of a religion. As the new religion gets stronger and gains more supporters, the traditional ideas of the empire are ignored, further weakening the power of the government. Moving to the external category. Now, when we say the external category, it could actually be considered an internal reason. Just in general, outside attacks are an external reason as to why empires decline and fall. This could be like the Xiongnu nomads in China. On the other hand, outside attacks could actually be internal, like the barbarian revolts of Rome, as you will see later. So the reason why empires fall is because of a slew of economic, political, and social factors that lead to the weakening of the central government and the growing strength of smaller territories. Next we'll see how Rome declined and fell.
There are two main ways of looking at what is commonly referred to as the fall of the Roman Empire. Though some historians view from 200 to 600 CE the period of decline and fall in Rome, there are other people, called transformationists, who believe that this period was not the decline and fall of the Roman Empire as much as the transformation from the Roman Empire to a group of smaller kingdoms. Transformationists refer to this time period as the Late Antiquity, and to support their claim, look at continuity during Rome in the Late Antiquity period as opposed to breaking points and dramatic changes. One example of continuity that is frequently used by transformationists is that daily life changed little for the peasants who made up most of Rome's population, and that many people still referred to themselves as Romans. Some other examples of continuity are the Christian Church and the Eastern Empire, which thrived during this period. When people refer to the fall of the Roman Empire during this time period, they are describing the fragmentation of the Western Roman Empire. Diocletian, an earlier emperor, had split Rome into two segments, East and West, to make it easier to govern. This decline and fall versus late antiquity argument applies only to the Western Roman Empire. The value of the transformationist paradigm lies in that it emphasizes that change is a gradual process and also that empires don't just disappear overnight, leaving total chaos behind. For example, the society built by the barbarian kingdoms that replaced Western Rome and the Christian Church are examples of continuity during this time period that bring and restore order to some extent. The transformationist paradigm also shifts the focus during this time period from the disintegrating West to the thriving East. The opposing movement, of the opinion that this is a period of decline and fall in Western Rome, is supported by a group of people called capacitorists. While transformationists emphasize continuity, capacitorists point to breaking points and large negative changes during this time period. Some examples that they use to support the idea of decline and fall of Western Rome are the decline of population, the loss of cities, loss of technology and infrastructure, the decline of trade and literacy, and the fragmentation and political changes that took place during this time period. Many of the examples that they use are things that point to a loss of advancement in civilization, such as the loss of technology and decline of literacy, while others, such as the loss of cities and infrastructure and the kind of goods, indicate that what happened at this time was much more than a gradual transition from one empire to another. This is the approach that we will take in explaining this time period.
While there are many factors that led to the collapse of the Roman Empire, some of the most probable causes of Rome's decline came from inside the Roman Empire as well as from the outside. During the late era of the Roman Empire, Rome was suffering from a lack of wealth. Rome often received their wealth and fueled their economy by conquering other areas and taking their wealth, slaves, tradable goods, and so forth. When Rome became too large to expand any further because of government structure and uncooperative armies, they stopped receiving profits, thus hurting the economy. Rome didn't want an internal rebellion provoked by this monetary loss to tear it apart. This led Rome to debasing their coinage by replacing some of the valuable metals in the coins, such as silver and gold, with less valuable minerals. By debasing their coinage, Rome was able to create more coins which temporarily solved their problems. However, when shopkeepers and merchants realized that the coins were worth less, they raised their prices. Because of the previously explained lack of wealth, the Roman empires raised taxes to provide more money for the government. With the added debasement of coinage, coins became less valuable, and inflation caused rebellions, and so the military demanded more money to put them down. The government was afraid of the power of the military and paid them the money they demanded, which made the empire in an even more desperate need for money. Because of this, they raised taxes again, and the cycle of economic collapse continued.
However, even as Rome's economic system slowly crumbled, there were also external threats that needed to be dealt with. In the Western Roman Empire, the northern borders were constantly under attack from barbarians. While the soldiers were protesting the low pay and trying to support their generals to replace the current emperor, these barbarians would cross the border and infiltrate the empire. The barbarians would then slowly gain power, and if they weren't given what they wanted, they would revolt, attacking Rome. On several occasions, Rome was sacked by barbarians, each time being further weakened until eventually being overrun by barbarians around 476 CE. These internal rebellions led to more military chaos, and the cycle continued. These two feedback loops, the cycle of economic decline and the rebellion of the military, fueled each other, ultimately contributing to the fall of the Roman Empire. One other potential factor in the fall of the Western Roman Empire is the corruption of Rome's military. One of Rome's later emperors decided to enlist the invading barbarians in the military. This was known as barbarization and may have fueled the fire of the militaristic revolts, as more people meant less.
Another example of military corruption are the Praetorian Guards, who would kill the emperor they were guarding for various reasons. Overall, the combined factors of the economic and militaristic decline led to a corrupt military, which only fueled the militaristic and economic declines, eventually resulting in the fall of the Western Roman Empire to barbarian powers.